Quite frankly, I've been afraid to try this ration out. This is the People's Liberation Army, Type 13, menu number 3 from China. We have a date on the bottom here, March 3rd, 2019. I'm not sure if that's an expiration date or packing date. This information here is just of the company that packs the ration. I'll post that. The writing here in the middle says something to the effect of Type 13, individual self-heating ration. It lets it be known that this is a military food. On the reverse, we have a little bit of information about the ration itself, just explaining that the products are self-heating and that this contains mainly a soft food product. We have the contents list here with the weights of the contents. And then we have nutrition facts right here. Looks like this is 4,900 kilojoules. If we convert that to kcalories, that's just shy of 1,200 kcalories. This is actually a pretty hefty little package for only being 1,200 calories. The plastic material that they use for the bag is a much thinner type plastic than what we use for the US MREs. Looks like on top, we have a little accessory pack. It's a simple napkin with a distinctly shovel-looking spoon. We have a 20-gram pack of spicy Chinese pickled cabbage, a 10-gram pack of our beverage-based powder. This is a water measuring bag for the FRH, so you know exactly how much water to put in it. We have our actual flameless ration heaters. They put them in this little protective sleeve. There's the heating pad through the bag there. It looks a lot like the heating pad of the US MRE. Although there is a heating pad on either side of the ration, so these should work out pretty well. Let's open this up and see what the retort pouch is looking like. This feels like a very hard, solid block. I'm gonna assume this is the rice, and it is a 320-gram pack of curry chicken fried rice. This other retort pouch has some iron filings on it. A little bit of the material from the FRH has been leaking out on the inside. The retort pouch seems like it's in good shape. That's the contents of the ration, so it's not very much. The actual mains are quite large though. You could make 2 meals out of this if you wanted to, I suppose. There's no little side items or little treats or anything really. Your only snack item is a very simple small pack of pickled cabbage. I'm absolutely starving today. It's past 2 p.m. and I haven't had anything to eat all day. I've been doing yard work. I've worked up a huge appetite, so I surely hope that these things are edible. I do appreciate that they give you the measurement bag so you can add the perfect amount of water to your FRH. We'll fill this to the fill line. I went over just by like a millimeter or two. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. And we'll add this to the FRH. Give this a little fold over. And a quick shake just to get those pads wet. That's reacting already. Starting to puff up. Let's go ahead and get this other one going as well. Same deal here. The FRHs are really going to work. Let's get started on our beverage powder here. This is only a 10-gram pack, so I can't imagine it's going to make very much drink. I didn't find anything on the packaging that suggested how much water you're supposed to use. Cut this thing open. It's sort of an oversized bag. Maybe you can use the bag as a drinking utensil. I don't really know. Look at that powder. Very fine grain, just sort of white, generic looking powder. Yeah, I don't know about that. This kind of smells weird, like really weird. It doesn't have a fruity smell. It doesn't smell particularly sweet. It's just sort of chemically, and it has this like odd smell that I don't recall having sensed in the past. I want to make sure I get all of it. There's not very much in there. It is a very fine powder. And it actually has just a little bit of maybe citrus aroma now that I have it in a more aerated form. It's more chemical than anything though. I figure this could make more than 6 or 8 ounces at the most. It's a lemon lime look. It seems to have dissolved fairly well. It has sort of a citric acid smell, lightly citrusy, maybe even a little pineapple-y. It's kind of hard to describe. It definitely smells more like a fruit drink now than it did in powder form, that's for sure though. We'll open up our little pack of pickled cabbage. There's hardly anything in there, it's such a small pack. I do see a nice piece of red pepper in there though, so maybe it will be spicy. I'm trying to scoop this out. It's such a small portion size. It's barely 1 bite. I don't know if you're supposed to like put this on the other food or if it's supposed to be enjoyed by itself. I think I got basically everything out of there. Here's a look at it on the spoon. Let's see what kind of temperature these FRHs are getting up to. Looks like this heating pad on the front is about 150. That's about normal for a US MRE heating pad. So the one on the back is a little hotter, up to about 160 in places. There's 2 of them, so that really helps out. I figure it's a good idea to flip these over about halfway through. And yeah, when I flipped them over, it started steaming again, so that was probably a good call on my part. I think I'm giving these enough time to get as hot as they're gonna get. The heater's puffed up a lot. It left a lot of residue on the outside of the pouch, sort of like an old school US FRH with the cardboard inside of it. I'm gonna wipe this off. I believe this one is our pork with noodles. It has a little tear notch on it. We'll see if we can tear that. Let's get a smell of this. In Steve's video, he mentioned that they were quite stinky. It smells good. No rotten smell whatsoever. Has sort of a chicken broth smell, oddly, even though it's pork. Nothing about the smell of that makes me think it's not gonna be edible. Let's get this out on the tray. A little greasy looking. There's inside of the pouch, a little grease residue, but that's about it. It filled up this portion of the tray quite a bit. Break this up a little bit. There's the pork. It looks like the pieces of pork that were touching the greens have sort of a green look to them. There's some little bits of carrot, sort of tightly packed in there. The pork flakes are very small, but there are some in there. I'm feeling a lot better about this now after smelling it. I was so afraid that I was gonna open this thing up and it was just gonna be rotten on the inside. I don't think it will be. Lo mein is one of my go-tos when ordering Chinese food. I love this stuff. That's pretty much what this is like, a lo mein noodle. It doesn't look like there's very much on it though. It's not really in any kind of heavy sauce or anything. Pretty simple, greens, carrot, pork, and noodles. Before we taste that, let's open up this other one as well. I like my retort pouch rice to get extremely hot, so hopefully this one heated up enough. And this is our chicken curry rice. Very yellow on the inside. Also has sort of that greasy residue to it. Looks almost like a Mexican rice because it's all yellow. Smells like curry. That's about all it smells like. Just a very plain curry powder smell. I think this is going to overfill our compartment, so we'll fill up those two. I love curry, so this actually smells really good to me. Has some chunks of chicken in it. Also some little carrot pieces. A little bit oily, but I think that rice is looking pretty good. So this is a high carb meal. After you get everything open, it really fills the tray up a lot better. I'm pretty thirsty, so I'm gonna go ahead and try the drink. Let's get a taste of that. It's sweet, it's salty also, which is kind of weird. You can definitely tell it's like a carbohydrate type beverage. There's not very much of it, it's pretty weak in this amount of water, so I don't really think you would want to mix it with too much more. It's not bad, but it's a little bit vitamin tasting. First thing I wanna try out is gonna be pork noodles. Try to get a little bit of everything in this spoonful. There's some pieces of pork in there, some noodle, a little flake of carrot, and some of the greens. The pork's nice and tender. Wow. Okay, so that's way better than I figured it would be. There wasn't anything off-putting about that at all. I need another bite of this. It's good. It's a little bit salty, but I like the noodle consistency. I was not expecting this at all. I actually really like this. This is super enjoyable. It's very light and oddly natural tasting. It almost reminds me of the flavor profile of a Russian ration. It doesn't really taste heavily preserved or anything. The noodles have a fantastic texture. Let's try a piece of the pork by itself. See if I can get a good idea of it. Yeah, soft, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with this main whatsoever. Maybe Steve just got unlucky with his and got one that wasn't quite so good. Well, all right, I'm feeling good now. I'm gonna be very happy to eat all of that. Let's try some of the pickled cabbage. I don't know how strong this is gonna be, so I'm gonna start with sort of a little bite. There's not too much in this, it looks like, other than just the chili and the cabbage, and it has sort of a vinegary smell. It is a little bit spicy. It's not too vinegary. You can never tell it's pickled. It's better than any sauerkraut I've ever had. It's different from kimchi. Try a little bit of that with our noodles. That little bit of extra tartness of the vinegar is really good for this main. These two go together very nice. I'm actually really enjoying this. Oh yeah, that's good. I was reading an article when I was doing research for this ration that was talking about how the Chinese troops don't really like their military rations, that they get very low praise with the troops. They say that they're bland and low quality. A lot of times when they're out doing exercises, the troops will actually bring their own food to eat instead of eating the military provided rations. But I think this main is pretty dang good, and I'd be happy to eat this in the field. Let's try some of our curried rice. I want to get a nice big bite of this with all the chicken and carrot. Oh yeah, that is looking great. Now there is a high grease content to this. There's a lot of oil in it, but this tastes great. I might be a little biased because I really like curry, and anything rice I'm down with. This is not overpoweringly curry, but it tastes like curry, and it's good. The little chicken bits, they're a little bit dry. They don't seem to be processed though. They have real strands of muscle fiber and the little chicken niblets. Other than being a little bit more greasy than I would like, this one's really good too. Maybe it's just I'm so hungry that all this is tasting good to me, but I'm actually really enjoying this ration a lot. And it was one I was actually dreading. I was afraid to try it. And this whole time I had this delicious little ration just sitting in my ration drawer. Let's try a little bit of our pickled cabbage with the rice here before I go and devour all of it, because I'm really enjoying this rice. Those mix pretty good too. The spiciness is good with the curry, but I think that the cabbage goes better with the noodles. I'm gonna destroy both of these entrees. Hopefully there's nothing in it that makes me sick, because I'm gonna eat all of it. Get one more sip of our drink here. The drink is the worst part of the ration, and even it's not that bad. There's just not really much to it. It's very lightly flavored. Well, that was a simple little review on a simple ration. One of the cooler rations I've tried out, that's for sure. People's Liberation Army, Type 13. I was pleasantly surprised. Very edible and quite tasty in my opinion. Maybe the quality control is not so good, and some rations are worse than others, but the one I got is really nice. Thanks so much for watching, guys. this has been Ration Rewind, the series in which I'm reposting my old ration reviews from my first YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to help it out with that Google algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to catch all of my future ration content. This is the one-stop shop for MRE related content. Old and new, foreign and domestic, military and commercial. We do it all here on Readiness Rations. Be sure to drop me a comment and check out my social links down in the description of this video. And I will be back with a new video for you guys next week. Until then, I will catch you in the next video. See you then. Peace.